Hello and welcome to another fantastic episode of Results with Kellen, the place that you want to be for personal development, growth, tools, and opportunities to blow your world up and get the kind of results that you want in your life. Today, I'm really excited about the guest that I'm going to bring to you today. Before I do that, I want to remind you, or tell those that are new today, a little bit about Kellen, why I'm doing this. All of my life, I have spent it helping other people maximize their gifts and talents. The venues range from electricity markets, I know, about like watching paint dry, to music performance, where I've worked with beginners and Grammy winners, to acting coaching, vocal coaching, and all kinds of other things, producing massive results. When I quit electricity after 30 years, I got into personal development several years ago, really heavy, and my desire to help people maximize their gifts and talents has led me to create this telesummit, Results with Kellen, and I get the opportunity to bring you the most amazing people during these sets of interviews, and that's true today, and I am so excited about that. Now, before we get started, there's two items of business that I want you to know about and cover really quickly so you can get the most out of today's interview. The first one is you need to go to Shawn Miller's interview page, which is our guest today. I'm really excited, so let me give you the link exactly, and you'll be with me there. Type in www.resultswithkellen.com/celebrity, that's CELEBRITY, and then you'll be on the right page. You'll know you're there when you see the beautiful picture of our guest, Shawn Miller. So there's several things you can do on this page, but right now I want you to scroll down to the comments section, okay? So go ahead and do that now. Now, down there you'll be able to type in ideas, thoughts, questions, or feelings that you have during this interview, and that'll be really important. It'll help you get the most out of it and be able to put things in there that will help you remember what you felt and what you thought during this interview. The second thing is really exciting also, and that is that Shawn is going to be giving away a free gift during this interview for those that are here, and this is a really exciting opportunity, and Shawn will tell you more about that in just a minute. So let me introduce you to our guest, Shawn Miller, today. He is the CEO of the Performance Institute in Holland, Michigan. He's also the CEO of the CEO of the Performance Institute and the creator of the Celebrity CEO model and the editor of Celebrity Entrepreneur magazine. That's quite a mouthful and quite an accomplishment. He's a social entrepreneur, triggering multiple businesses to produce significant cash flow. And he does that with a really interesting purpose, to fund missions and ministries. Shawn has also been a successful business owner in other venues as well. He'll tell you a little bit more about that, and something that sets him apart, he's been a high-powered political candidate for public office. So I'm excited to meet him. Shawn, welcome to the show.
Hey, Kellen. Awesome. I'm excited to be here. Welcome to my Shark Tank, hey?
You know what? I love the shark picture. The shark picture makes me think of Shark Tank and
Absolutely.
all of the kinds of things that you do.
Oh man, the Shark Tank is the sort of the epitome, isn't it? And that celebrity entrepreneur is epitomized by the Shark Tank. And we often talk about a picture that we grabbed from a screenshot from Shark Tank. It's Mark Cuban, and on that picture, Mark says, "There's nobody that's not going to take my call," and that just, to me, captured the essence of the combination of influence and access that is had by those guys that have that celebrity entrepreneur posture and positioning today.
You know, that's cool, because later we'll direct the listeners to a page where they can see that picture and that quote. Really cool. So first of all, let's allow the listeners that are on the show here to get to know you a little bit better. So can you tell us a bit about your journey, what you've done, and how you finally ended up here in a place of this celebrity CEO branding?
Sure. Well, I've been in an entrepreneurial space most of my professional life. I come from a professional, my family are professionals, and I was raised that way in that mindset. And I've also always been a teacher. It's been natural to me to always be a trainer. And what I've discovered when I look back on my journey is from the very first entrepreneurial endeavors I did, I sold golf equipment. I was a wholesale golf rep. And I was about 21 at that time, and I was frankly doing that just so I could play more golf. But I didn't have a lot of value to offer in sales, to be honest, and the products I sold were kind of crappy. So what I had to learn was to be a person of value, a person of resource to retailers so that they would meet me and do business with me. And somehow I triggered that, well, if I could make their business better, then I would be a resource to them, and they would kind of have to look at my stuff. So I sort of, from an early time, I started training myself to be a trainer, and I learned how to teach retailers how to sell more so that those golf equipment retailers would invite me into their businesses and give me access to their people so I could build a relationship first as a resource. So that's natural to me, Kellen. So whenever we're doing this or whenever I'm working with clients or if I'm on a stage or on TV, I'm always teaching. I can't seem to help but always be teaching. And also, important to the journey now, it just kind of rings to me. You mentioned the social entrepreneur shtick, and some people might say, well, what does that mean? And, I mentioned my folks a minute ago, and I don't have a hard luck journey to tell you about. I was raised in an affluent space and with a lot of opportunity, to be honest. And because of that, the money didn't mean much to me, and I liked the game of business and the sport of it, but the money didn't mean that much to me. So a lot of times when you hear a speaker like me and they're going to show you their Ferraris and they're going to show you their exotic vacations and all their very cool boats and all that stuff, and we live well, don't get me wrong, we live far better than most. But the reason that I do what I do, I found the passion, is that I can create a lot. I know how to create cash flow. I can make a lot of money for myself, and I can make a lot of money for my clients. But the reason that I do that, and the drive for me, is to give it away. And so I have some folks that I work with that are in missions and ministry that I know about, that I've vetted, that I'm engaged with, and my goal in doing this in general, why am I generating a lot of money? I'm generating a lot of money so I can give it away. So that's a little bit of a funny space maybe from what you hear from a speaker guru like me, but that's why I do what I do today.
That's actually really exciting, and the part about the missions and ministries was in the intro, and I knew, based on what I knew about your political candidacy that you ran for a while, that you were very interested in traditional values and and having the kinds of good stuff, just use those words, but good stuff happen, and returning some sense, some integrity and honesty to office, which is certainly lacking in a lot of ways. So that's exciting. I want to ask you a couple other things about that, your journey to where you are now. But first, even though you have not had money issues, just in terms of being raised in an affluent space, and you mentioned a really interesting thing: the money doesn't mean a lot, and then you've searched for other meaning, and your meaning is now to create wealth, to give it away, to support some missions and ministries, and do good with the wealth that you've been blessed with, or that you have the skill to create. And so I know that, like me, a lot of people do wonder, is it really possible to get what I want out of life, or how do I manifest these circumstances that I want, whether it's wealth or whether it's mission-based or whether it's to create value for other people. Like, what does it really take to get those kinds of things, and why does it sometimes seem so hard? All of those are questions that people struggle with, even if the issue isn't the money part. I'm sure that part resonates with you as well, right?
Well, absolutely. So, what I mean by that is to overcome and work forward, I needed to find that purpose. And obviously there was a reason that I was created, and there was a reason that I was endowed with this gift. My clients have a funny name. They call me the trigger, which is kind of silly, but I have this ability in myself and with those that I work with closely in inner circle clients and those that I touch, to make changes in their strategy and do things in their business that just multiplies their income. It's just I have a little bit of gift in that space. And so why am I to use that space if the money doesn't mean that much to me? Well, I had to find that purpose. So now that I've found that purpose and made those commitments, and you understand from Results on Rampage and the things that I've seen you do, when you understand that purpose and it's clear and that mission is clear and you understand your role in the Father's business, then you've got a job to do. So now I've got to do my job, and I've got to do it to the best of my ability. So I want to always be using my time, using my resources, leveraging relationships, doing whatever I can do to make that success happen as rapidly and positively as possible. But I do it for that specific reason. But that reason is unique to everyone, right? So, Kellen, you have to find your own specific reason. Others might have, they want to provide a certain life for their family. They want to provide certain opportunities. Many of my clients, especially my female clients, they want to travel. Women, well, my women clients, they always want to travel. So they want to provide that. They want to have that kind of experience with the people they love, and they want to enjoy and journey in terms of physical travel. So whatever that is, you need to know what it is. You need to be clear about it, and then be clear on your best leverage points to make that happen and make it happen efficiently, right?
Yes. So that's a really good lead into where we need to go next, because the first question that I have for you, and that part about finding your true trigger, your true mission, your true purpose, is important for every business owner, for every value creator, I'll say, because when you find it and you can line up your work with your passion and your energy, then of course it produces a multiplying effect, which of course why I created Results with Kellen. So, Shawn, you've been a successful businessman for many years. We didn't talk about some of the other businesses you own, and that's fine, but you've been successful at them. So just the question that someone might ask you is, so what's your secret?
Well, so the keys to what I learned, and I really learned this as a business person. So I'll take our fitness business, for example, Kellen. We have a fitness business. I'm the principal of the fitness business. I'm not there a heck of a lot, but I'm the one that's legally responsible, right? My name is on it. So therefore, I'm the target of every sort of salesperson that you can imagine. They want to get to me. And what I learned in watching them was that how they present themselves to me and what happens in that interaction is really, really important. And a lot of that is what has driven me, that lessons learned as the target of sales is what helped me to understand how to change a positioning and posture in clients in a powerful way. So what do I mean by that? So if I'm in a purchasing spot, most people approach me to sell me something with what I call a generalist perspective. They're coming in a general way. The key, I know they're a generalist because they usually talk about saving me money in some way. That's kind of the trigger. So, okay, if they're talking about saving me money, then they're really not standing out in the marketplace in any way. So I refer to that as swimming in the sea of sameness, which isn't very nice, but the sea of sameness. And they're generalists. They're a jack of all trades. They'll do whatever I want. They'll bend over backwards for me. And frankly, I don't have time for them. That's the result of what happens to them if they're presenting in such a general fashion. I just don't have time for them. If I'm honest, I see them as a waste of my time. So what I do is I block them and I delegate them to people that they can't really help them, but I want to be nice, and I make them go away. They don't get to me. But some people, Kellen, are experts, and that what I mean by an expert is that they've specialized. They've studied their craft. They've specialized. They've filtered what they do to a certain specific case and they're presenting themselves as an expert. And at least I understand what they do, and I can put some value to it. I might pay a little premium price to an expert, and I will retain the information of an expert in case I ever need them, right? But
Sure.
they don't have the right to push on me. They can't sell me anything. They don't have the right to push on me or anything like that. But in every space, and it's true in the fitness business, it's true in all the space, there are authorities. There are people who are the standard setters. They're the ones that set the metrics for that industry. And when I bought this fitness business 9 years ago, there was a guy that contacted me. Well, he contacted me later, but I became aware of him right away as a metrics measurer, the source of information for the industry. And what he would do, Kellen, is he would send me a quarterly survey of my financial performance as a company. And because he appeared in media magazines that were relevant to the industry, he was part of the trade show and conference, he was a speaker, he presented himself as, well, he must be trustworthy. You know, you wouldn't have such position in this industry. So I decided to play along, and I shared my information with him. And I began to get then reports on my performance, right, and my performance based upon the industry, and I began to follow him. I read everything he read. I read every email he sent me. I found him online. I tried to connect with him on LinkedIn, right? I found him in spaces online, in social spaces, and I began to follow, kind of stalk him, to be honest. That's what we do. That's what we do when we have such respect for that authority. And one day, the craziest thing happened. One day I get a phone call, and normally, as I just said, I don't take those calls. But when I heard the name, I took the call. I was excited. I felt honored and edified to get a call from a person of such authority in my industry. And he complimented me. He said, I've been watching your performance, and I see how you're doing, and you're clearly pretty sharp. And well, yes, I am. Right?
I'm sure that felt good. Okay, you're sharp, right?
I don't know if he believed that or not, but I was, you know, at least he'd been vetting me, right? He'd been watching me, he'd been vetting me, he'd been judging my performance, and he had the opportunity now to do something that an authority can do. And I have another quote from Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, and Kevin says, I don't do good deals, I do great deals, right? That's the position of authority. Now, so what Michael did now in the fitness business is he called me up, and he said, I want you to be a part of my high-end inner circle mastermind. I've been watching you, you've got the right stuff, I want to bring you close to me. And of course, that was a 5-digit investment on my part to be close to him. I didn't even think about it. I'm like, I was excited about it. I felt, again, as I said, honored and enthused. This was the position of that the authority had. Now, in fact, he was selling me, wasn't he? I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like I was being sold to. I was excited to have the opportunity to get close to a guy that I was already following, and he was doing that because of his position in our industry and how he related himself and postured himself to me as a valuable resource. And I was like, when I figured that out, Kellen, I was like, what?
Right. So I have that leads me to another. That leads me to another great question. It's a segue into that. So what you've described is you've described how he created value for you. That excited you. And then he left you alone to follow him. And after he realized and knew that you were following him while he was vetting you, he reeled you in. In other words, you chased him until he caught you. And he then had you invest in his mastermind. So this plays right into the next question that I had for you, which is what got you interested in this, what you do now, which is celebrity branding, because you've described the levels of authority, which was generalist, expert, and then authority, the standard setter. And so you do something different, more than just being an authority. And this is really where it gets interesting, because it's one thing to be an authority where you set standards and so forth, but lots of authority figures are still invisible. So what led you to this celebrity branding that you do now.
Right. So this was the one epiphany, the one epiphany I just shared on which is actually the left side of the pyramid of Allure that you described. When our pyramid of Allure walks up that walk from generalist to expert to authority. On the right side, we walk up the celebrity path, and the light bulb for me, right? My girls love that movie. Was it Despicable Me? Light bulb, right? He says my daughters love that movie. The light bulb for me, I went to a high-end business event in Dallas, Texas. I flew to Dallas. I was part of this event, huge event, 800 people in the room. Everybody there was a serious business person. They had all spent at least thousands to be in that space. And the keynote speaker for the first night was Dave Hester, the yup guy from that Storage Wars TV show.
Right.
Now, I spend most of the time in the hallway because I'm a networker and not really a learner. I was making connections. And in the hallway, after Dave spoke, was a line of people about 150 yards long. These were professional, top-flight people. They'd come from literally all over the world. And they were standing in line, 4 or 5 wide, 150 yards long, down a hotel concourse to snap a selfie, right, a picture with Dave Hester from Storage Wars. Now, I got to meet Dave. As I said, I hung out in the hallway. I got to meet Dave. I got my picture with him too, right, because I'm a nerd too. But the thing that blows my mind, right, is Dave's a heck of a nice guy, and if he sees this, hey, I'm not bashing you, brother. I love you, man. But he has a thrift store in Southern California. He buys stuff out of storage lockers and sells it at a markup. And in the bizarre space of reality TV, he reluctantly became a D-rated celebrity on an obscure, syndicated cable TV show. And because of that celebrity, he is now so sought after that. And he was a keynote speaker on business leadership to a room of 800 who came from all over the world and then waited in line 150 yards long to meet with him. This is crazy, but it's the power of celebrity. It's ridiculous, and we're just nuts about it, right? Did you know, you've heard of these Kardashian people, right? The Kim Kardashian and this
Unfortunately, we've all heard of them.
You know, Kim Kardashian right now is making $700,000 a day on her free app, the Kardashian Game. $700,000 a day. So this is this magic allure. It's ridiculous. I mean, even if you're like, Shawn, you're crazy. You're rolling your eyes at me. But this magic allure is real. It's pervasive. We're nuts about it. It's not just American, it's global. I mean, we're nuts about this as a human race. And, one of my original mentors in marketing, Dan Kennedy, Dan says, Oprah Winfrey can sell Fords or Fritos, right? And he's talking about that magic allure that celebrity persona has. And
so this leads me to my next question.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So you've walked me up the authority side, you've talked about the allure side, and you've given a couple of examples of perhaps, Dave Hester on that Storage Wars was for a while, I think, the highest rated syndicated TV show on many of those channels. At least that's what the brag rights were that I heard at the time.
And now it's another business show. Now it's Duck Dynasty.
Exactly. So, and then you talked about, the celebrity attached to and the power attached to other people who, with a dubious beginning, who got their celebrity in a rather dubious way. Okay, fine. The bottom line is you're describing a model where recognition and the power of the visual and recognizing somebody's face and their persona gives them this staggering authority, perhaps that they don't even, I'm using the word authority, but allure, power to attract that perhaps is completely inconsistent. So my question is this. Describe to me, very succinctly, what is the difference between plain old marketing and celebrity branding?
Well, it's the creation, it's an intentional creation of that position on the both the authority side, which is entirely creatable, Kellen. You just decide to do it, and we can walk you through a defined pattern to do it. We've been doing it for years. And that intentional creation of celebrity, which is a defined pattern. It's been happening for years, right? I mean, celebrities are created, man. I mean, we like to think it's magic, but it's not. It's a process. It's done. We talk about Scooter Braun and the creation of Justin Bieber. It's a created process. People know that story. So we intentionally do that to create something that's just game-changing. And we can just completely game change, just as Cuban said. We can very quickly grab an authority position in the marketplace and create a celebrity type buzz in today's, people's media and digital publishing, the tools we have today. We can create that kind of buzz around just about anybody that wants to, and you can do it faster than you'd ever imagine.
So that's fantastic, a great description of the difference and the allure. I love that word, allure pyramid. So what do you say to someone, or how do you help someone, and maybe you can't, but what would you say to someone, how do you help someone that's afraid, like of being on camera, or this public stuff frightens them?
I just had this conversation yesterday in a client's office. My answer was, get over it.
Okay.
I did. I was sitting in the office of a client. He has a $5 million company. He's a very successful guy. He's a dynamic individual owner. He could multiply that company very easily. His market space is ripe for anyone to stand out from the sea of sameness and grab the expert position. No one has grabbed that authority in space in that marketplace. And it's just ripe for it. And I said, brother, if you don't do it, one of your competition is going to do it. So let's go, right? Get over the shyness you have, and let's start working on it, and we'll make it happen. I mean, I'll help you craft the words. I'll help you practice. We'll get you where you need to go, right? You might be uncomfortable at first, but we've done it many times. We can do it with you, right? We could even do it with Kellen Flukiger, right? Absolutely.
Oh wow, I'm honored.
You're a rock star, man. It's easy.
Okay, so thank you for that. So the basic advice is to get over it, but I'll help you, is what I'm hearing you say,
absolutely.
Right?
Well, get over it, get out of your own way, and then let me help you. That's why we do what we do.
It's funny because, in the recording studio business that I've done for a long time and in acting coaching, a lot of the same thing, even in piano performance when I've coached people, it's so much about stopping the process of worrying about yourself and just be willing to just express that and let those who will be attracted to that be attracted to it, and that process of discovering the path to that freedom, and it really is freedom, is such a powerful part of what you're teaching and what you're helping the clients do.
It's very, very powerful, and it's an interesting thing because you're both attracting people to you very intentionally that are your ideal prospects and going to make great clients for you, and simultaneously repelling people intentionally who are not going to be. And that's a really powerful space in the marketplace, but it does require some guts.
That's interesting what you said about repelling, because there are certain people that will be repelled by a given celebrity or someone that has created celebrity for whatever reason. And so sometimes we feel like the creation of authority or celebrity or attractiveness in the market means we have to appeal to everyone. And what I'm hearing you say is that that's absolutely not the case. Be whatever it is you choose to be it loud, be it proud, and it attracts who it attracts. And if it repels some people, great. That just means you're loud enough.
Well, if you're swimming in the sea, if you're comfortably swimming in the sea of sameness, you'll make no ripples and you won't bother anybody, and you can just happily float along. But if you want to make an impact in business, and you want to make an impact then for your family or for your purpose, you're going to have to make some splashes, man. You're going to have to make some ripples in the water and really elevate yourself up out of that sea of sameness. And to do that, you're going to have to do some bold things, and that's okay. And you know, one of the things that I said, you know, I said to my client yesterday that I met with, or that I was just talking about, I said, the other thing, I said, now be ready, because your competitors are going to be upset. They're going to be offended that you're grabbing this space, and they're going to contact you, and they're going to say, who do you think you are? So just be ready for that, because, you know, Dave Laconnie is a guy, a friend that you probably know, and Dave has said something that I thought was brilliant, and he said it's better to be loved or hated than to be tolerated. And I think that's brilliant. I mean, that's a writer downer. It's better to be loved or hated than to be tolerated. So in the marketplace, you've got to take a bold position and take a stand and separate yourself from the sea of everybody else. It's necessary.
Well, that's two things. Sea of sameness, we've got to stand out from the sea of sameness, and better to be loved or hated than to be tolerated. Good.
This
good.
Guy's gonna get you, right?
Yeah. So I've got one more question in this section.
Okay.
I've got one more question in this section, and it's a little bit a derivative of the one about being afraid to be on camera, but it also has to do with something I suspect that you teach. In fact, I'm sure you do, looking at the what we're going to talk about next. But what about someone that has trouble expressing themselves in a powerful way? Maybe they don't have the right words, or they don't have the confidence of expression. It isn't so much about the visuals and the camera, but they just don't feel that. Is that something you work with or help people overcome, and how do you do that?
Yeah. That's critical, because you have to be very, very clear about what you do and the reason that people are going to be interested in that. And so one of the very first things that we'll do, Kellen, is we'll teach you how. Can I talk about what we do? Is that what you're going to tell you about?
Well, you do. You know, I want to get into that in just a minute. Yeah. So let me give a little middle part here, and then I'm going to get into some process stuff where you get to teach, and that's what I want you to do next.
Sure.
For those of you that joined late, let me repeat the stuff that I said earlier. If you're not already on Shawn's audience dashboard page, then you need to go there now. Because as you can hear, this is just like really captivating, and it's easy to just get lost. So go to his dashboard page right now, www.resultswithkellen.com/celebrity, CELEBRITY. You'll know you're there when you see the words, the words audience dashboard, and you see the picture of our guest, Shawn Miller, today. So, friends, I told you in the beginning, and I'm repeating it here, Shawn's got a free gift, especially for you, just for participating in this interview today. And that's fantastic. So, Shawn, your free thank you gift is called the Celebrity Entrepreneur Predictability Index.
Yeah.
And that is incredible, just in terms of that. So, I need you to take a couple sentences here, or a little bit, a couple minutes. Describe for our listeners what they're going to get in your Celebrity Entrepreneur Predictability Index thank you gift.
Right. Well, you know, obviously it should be obvious that we've been doing this for a little while, right? We know the things that are critical to build up the pyramid of Allure and create that position. So we've created the predictability index to measure where a client is at the starting point. So where are you now? And thusly, where do we need to focus moving forward? So for free, I'm going to give you basically an assessment opportunity for you to come through, answer those 10 questions. They've made me narrow it down to 10 questions that are the most critical factors, and to then rate yourself to the standards that we benchmarked, so that you know where you're at today and where you need to be. And so, Kellen, we talk about some things that might seem pretty natural to you, but we need to measure, and we have some specific ways to measure, you know, such as you know, your Googleiciousness, right? Are you Googleicious on your own name? I mean, does the online world know who you are? Are you present? Are you present? Are you available? Are you easily found? Are people finding you? And there are some benchmarks to your Googleiciousness.
I love that word. I want to be Googleicious. All right, keep going.
Absolutely. And we also talk about the people's media. We talk about social media. And, you know, a lot of people have a lot of friends on Facebook, and that's kind of cute and fun, but that doesn't mean you're influential. And so I happen to be, I'm a very humble guy, so it seems funny to me, but like cred.com, for example, tracks me and measured me, and they contacted me one day and they said, congratulations, you're one of the most influential people online. Well, great. Well, why am I one of the most influential people online? So we've worked with them to get those standpoints, to get their benchmarks, to understand how they're tracking, not only that you are online and you're blah-blahing, that's nice, but are people actively engaged with you? Are people, you know, following what you're doing? Are they forwarding? Are they commenting? Are they sharing? Are they liking? Are they engaged? And there's measures to track that, to make sure you're actually influential and not just there. And so that's really important. And then we obviously know in working with clients, then how do we make someone intentionally more influential online? So we know how to do that too.
Right. So that the free gift part is that assessment, and that's really generous, and I'm really excited about that. So friends, I'll tell you in a few minutes how to get your free thank you gift. And while you're on that page, I want you to find the special offer button, okay? Now, I want you, audience members, to find the special offer button. It's big, it's orange, it's easy to find. I want you to click on that special offer button now, and you'll know that you're on the right page when you see special offer, followed by the words Shawn Miller's Wall Street and Hollywood Boulevard. So on this page, you can read all about this exclusive special offer that Shawn's put together only for you for listening to our interview today. Shawn, your package is called Shawn Miller's Wall Street and Hollywood Boulevard. Could you take a minute and describe a little bit about the special offer that you and your team have put together for our listeners?
Sure. So we're going to bring you right back here into our video studio, and we'll, that's one of the things we do for clients, by the way, to teach them how simple it is to have your own video studio and how powerful that is. But we'll bring you back into the video studio. I've got 5 videos queued up and ready to go just for your viewers, Kellen. And what we're going to do is we're going to begin to walk them up that pyramid of Allure. So we're going to make sure that they understand in detail the pyramid of Allure, what it is, how it works, right? What are the models that are proven there? We're going to talk about then how to strategically posture yourself, and that's that celebrities, how to posture yourself so that you're able to swing doors with connections and to gain access to the people that you need to gain access to. We don't want to be treated like beggars by bankers. We don't want to be treated like salespeople. We need to be able to posture in a powerful way so that doesn't happen. So we'll talk about the real trigger keys to how we create authority, how do we create that dominant position very quickly, and why you don't have to do things that people think they have to do, like write a book. It's not necessary. It's too slow. Nobody reads it anyway. So we're going to talk about doing this. As I said earlier, we're going to do this quickly. We're not going to take 6 months to write a book and then begin to talk about the book and all this kind. We're going to create that position right away. We're going to talk about how to create media buzz. And the reality is, if my friends in the media are watching this, I kind of hold my tongue, Kellen. But the reality of celebrity, a lot of it is the manipulation of media and getting yourself positioned as a personal resource to your ideal prospects in traditional media. And we have some tools. I'm going to show you how I do that, how my clients do that. We're able to get media coverage almost every day. How do we do that, and how do we make that happen, and how do we do it in a strategic way? We're also going to talk more about the social media, and because social media, as you know, is really, really important, and it's really, really fast. So just about anybody anywhere can talk to anybody anywhere in the social space, and this is unique. This is an amazing development in humankind, the ability for mass two-way communication, and we're in control of it. I call it the people's media. And in the people's media, there are strategies and tactics and things that you do to be positioned as someone who is interesting, engaging, funny, in something that people want to watch. Those are writer downers, Kellen. You got to be interesting, you got to be helpful or engaging, and you got to be funny. So those are three things. You don't have to be all three, but you can be any one of the three in the space. So we talk about those things and how you do that, and how you position to the market. So I have in excess of 120-some thousand Twitter followers at the moment, right, and they're engaged with me. We talk about certain things. They know who I am. They follow me. They talk. They comment. They share. Right, and I did that intentionally, and I can teach you how to do that too.
So this sounds like, to me, what I see here is a wealth of instruction, and also it looks like there's another membership piece. Could you just talk about that for a sec?
Right. Yeah, I have my mastermind group to thank for this, but we're giving away to you folks that are watching. We're giving you when you invest in the special offer, which is ridiculous. I think it's $97, which is it's a little offensive to me, but that's what we're doing it for. And we're also giving you 2 months of access to our startup level business coaching. And so you're going to be able to come in behind the curtain at ShawnMMiller.com and behind the Celebrity CEO Model, behind the curtain with the Inner Circle clients, and you'll have these introductory videos, and then immediately get engaged in my TGIM calls and Hangouts and the interviews that I do with my friends, and you're going to have access to the templates and to the resources and to the processes of what we're doing for the clients that are paying at the startup business level, and we're going to give it away for free. So you got to do that, man. That's
I got it. So let me just summarize here. What I see is a very valuable special offer. Friends, if you'd like to take Shawn up on this special offer, which includes this exclusive 90% discount, scroll to the top of the screen, click on the Add to Cart button. The rest is easy. Just fill out the form and click the Submit Order button now. And remember, in a moment, I'll tell you how to get a hold of the free thank you gift just for this interview. So, Shawn, I promised you that we'd get to some teaching. And I need to do that now.
Don't tell my $100,000 clients that you're getting all this for $97, okay?
I won't tell anybody anything. Thank you for letting us twist your arm. I really appreciate it. So let me just ask, this is a chance for you to teach now, and I want you to do that. So when you set out to create Allure, got a new client, you set out to create Allure, what are your first steps?
Yeah, well, the first steps are to find, and you asked a question about how you get clarity on your position and the things that you say and your talking points. And so what we do is we begin, Kellen, with a pattern that we take them through to understand their value. So then that pattern will be available to you in detail. But we're going to have them express, go through an iteration process to express who their ideal clients are, and that's really, really important for people. They need to understand who your ideal prospects and clients are so that you can speak to them specifically. So who are they for? What is the fear and frustration of that person, right? What are they dissatisfied with, and how can we tag into that? We're going to talk about then what our value proposition is, right? What do we do for that person that's unique? And how is it different than the sea of sameness that they're presented with today? So how is it unique in the marketplace? And then we're going to teach you how to powerfully describe the benefits of that to that ideal prospect. So that's the beginning position, is to know your value and claim your space, right? Now, if I may, one step further, and once we know our position, claim our space, what we do to flip the market on its end is we leverage what we call the bold prediction. You see, Kellen, anybody can report, right? And anybody who knows anything about media knows that the media is filled today with very young people who make very little money, and anybody can report. But only an authority in the space will prognosticate or predict. So what we do is once we understand who we're wanting to speak to, we understand what their concerns and issues are, and we understand what their fear and frustration is, then we take claim to a position of authority, and we begin to make a bold prediction about what's going to befall them if they don't pay attention to us and they don't do what we're telling them to do. Now, that bold prediction is very, very powerful, and it's not hard to do. It's not complicated. Once we go through that initial iteration process, we leverage the power of a bold prediction, and that's really important to the marketplace. But it's very, very important to the media. So the media, you say anybody can report. That's not what they want. They've got to, in the age of 24/7 media, online, offline, niche media, there's a niche for whatever marketplace you're interested in, believe me. And there's media who's intently covering it. So what we need to do is we need to become the go-to resource for your niche market media. And we do that by knowing who they are, where they are, what they do. We'll do all that. We'll work you through all that. But then we're going to leverage and connect with them with our bold prediction about what's happening in their industry, what's happening in their niche, what's going to happen going forward, and we'll show you how to justify that position in a powerful way and create the type of buzz that everybody wants, because the media they need that. They can't live without constant controversy and conversation. So we're going to feed them exactly what they're looking for. Is that a good tip?
It's a beautiful tip. So that's great. It's a great series of steps, and I hope that you wrote it down. And if you didn't, that you listen again and write those steps down. So the next obvious question, after listening to that incredible series of steps that you walk through and how you then become the go-to person for the media covering the area that you have staked an authority claim in, someone's going to ask, how long does it take to create a lure that's meaningful? And you've used the word allure a lot, so I'm using it intentionally because that's what you create. So how long does it take to create an allure that's meaningful?
You know, not as long as you would suspect. You know, we have clients that are getting access to media in days. I mean, they're getting, we use certain techniques that allow you to get inserted as an expert authority in existing spaces very easily. That can take days. You can then leverage that to, it's all about leverage. We then create the leverage off of those positions to get access to featured spots in media. Once you're in featured spots in media, it's very easy to get access to stages, to be interviewed. You know, it's very powerful to be a speaker leader in your niche. So, if you're, you know, one of the things that we talked about was Milgram's law. We leveraged Milgram's law, and what Milgram studied was that once people perceive there's a leader, they follow that. Humans like to follow. So if we can get you in the front of the room, in front of your niche prospects, then that's a power position. They just want to be close to you. They want to follow you. Everybody wants to talk to the guy who's on stage. Everybody, I don't have my phone. Everybody wants to get their picture taken, right? Their selfie taken with the guy that just walked off stage. And when we leverage that then in social media, man, we can create, in a few months, we can make some really cool stuff happen in somebody's business. We can, I mean, you know, game-changing stuff.
So you've obviously done this kind of branding for yourself and in creating both your personal other businesses and in creating this new venture. How different is it for you teaching others to do this as opposed to simply doing it for yourself? You know, you grew up in a certain way, it gave you this skill, and some of it's intuitive for you, some of it you have intentionally done and learned how to do. How different is the teaching versus the doing it for yourself?
It's just it's a matter of understanding the client, Kellen, and understanding their personality and how they're different than me. And we use a personality assessment that understands what makes you fascinating to the marketplace. And when we do that assessment and I understand a lot more about the client and how they are going to be best positioned to the marketplace, then we begin to reflect that. So it's really fun. To me it's fun. It's a game. It's about how quickly can I trigger some really significant activity that benefits this client and helps them get what they're trying to get. And so I need to understand them. I need to understand their message. I need them to get clear about their value and help them do that quickly. And then it's really fun to see somebody who knows what their place is, knows what their message is, and can confidently express it. And it's really fun to see them do that, and then to see them have the opportunity that come from taking that position. So I don't want to say it's easy, like anybody could do it. I mean, we've been doing this a long time. We figured this out, and so for me, it's quite the fun process, man. I really enjoy it.
Well, one of the things that's been really obvious as you've done this and talked to me today is that how much fun you're having and how much you really personally enjoy it. And you really expressed it just now in the gameness. You said, it's like a game. How fast can I get a reaction? How fast can I get? So that's a really fun way to look at it. All right, so let me talk to the audience here for just a minute. All right, listeners, by now you should have been to the special offer page. If you haven't, here's the link to Shawn's webpage, and you need to go there now, www.resultswithkellen.com/celebrity, CELEBRITY. On this page, look for the big orange special offer button. Click on the special offer button now. And on this special offer page, you can read all about this incredible, and I say that word carefully because this is an amazing special offer that Shawn has allowed us to twist his arm. I'm not sure, how long it's going to take him to recover, and I know he's an athlete and everything, but twist his arm for this special offer he's put together just for you. So on that page, you're going to find that quote he had from Mark Cuban earlier about everyone takes his call. You'll also find a discussion of the different parts of the celebrity branding that he does, the Allure pyramid, and so forth. And so it's really quite a special offer. Make sure you take a look at that now. Remember when Shawn talked about Mark Cuban and when he also talked about his picture with Dave Hester, the celebrity from Storage Wars. All of that and all of the ways that he's going to help you are described in that special offer. So go ahead, take a look, and then take advantage of Shawn Miller's special offer, Wall Street and Hollywood Boulevard package at this exclusive 90% discount. Click on the Add to Cart button now, and the rest is easy. Just fill out the form and click the Submit Order button. So, Shawn, I've got some questions that come from the audience.
Oh,
Good, because one of the first questions that everybody always asks, they hear someone else's success, and immediately they have the question, is this possible for me? So what would you say if I came up to you after you spoke on stage, I clicked the obligatory selfie because I want my picture with the guy on stage, and then I was all excited by your talk, and then reality sets in, and I say, dude, is this really possible for me?
Absolutely. It's just like we mentioned yesterday with that inner circle client. You can in your industry, you can just grab this position, man. It's just sitting there for you. Sorry, I knocked my mouse on the floor. It's just sitting there for you, and it's a great opportunity. And really, as we just said, there's niches and niches and niches and niches today. So we understand your niche, and just grab that spot in your niche. And there's one that matches. There's 8 billion people in the world, Kellen. There's a niche for you, brother. And those people will be excited to meet you. They'll be excited to be close to you. They'll want to be near you. They'll want to follow and chase you. If you're a celebrity, right? They'll be excited to get that selfie with you because you're such a resource to them. You're so helpful to them. And the only reason that you can do that is because you are who you are, and because you understand what you understand, and you can create that unique connection with your unique niche. If you weren't special and unique and an individual, you couldn't do it. So, and you can't be fake about this, right? I can't. There's nothing. I can't be fake about this. I can't be. I have to be authentic. It has to be my own natural personality, my own persona. I can't be fake in the social space 24/7. It's going to be exposed. So
right.
You got to know who you are and be who you are, and people will love you for who you are.
So that's perfect, because it leads me into my next question. So the resounding answer for somebody that says, can I do this, is yes. And then I know that you've heard this, okay? So don't laugh when I ask this question, but I know you've heard it. And then someone comes and says, what if I don't have anything good to capitalize on?
Yeah, I have heard that. You know, that again, everybody that I haven't met anybody yet that doesn't have somebody who calls them and says, hey, will you meet me for coffee? I want to ask you some questions. I mean, anybody who's heck, if your dog died and you had to go through the grief of what you did when your dog died, and how did you deal with that grief, and did you get another dog, and how long did you wait? And I mean, that's intellectual property. Okay, that's people don't think of it that way, but your experience in dealing with that and your ability to advise somebody else about it is your own intellectual property. It's unique to you, and we're living in an advisement age. I talked about being Google-licious, and Google is really important, but Google is also kind of overwhelming, right? Google is you go there and the information and the volumes of information is overwhelming. So what we say is the information age has overwhelmed and killed itself. And today we are in the advisory age. And that means that anybody who's managed to live and thrive has stories about how they've overcome, what they've learned, what they can do, and those that they share with others. And in genuine friendship and helping people. So everybody has intellectual property, Kellen. It's just a matter of seeing it that way and then positioning it into products and services that can be sold.
So this is perfect for the next question as well, because one of the things that you talked about earlier was how the growth of technology and the access that how the growth of technology has made everyone have an opportunity they didn't have even as recently as just a few years ago. So the next question is there really a process to do this like the big boys do?
Yeah, I think that, the funny thing about that is the big boys are trying to figure out how they can have the influence that normal people have. I mean, that's the thing of social space, right? In the social space, in the people's media that's so dominant, talking about Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, right? The dynamic individual personality is so much more interesting than is a brand. And that's a huge challenge for the brand, right? The government employees insurance and credit union, Geico, isn't very exciting. It's really, really hard for the government employees insurance credit union to be interesting, dynamic, funny, engaging in any way. So they have to create a little gecko guy who is interesting and funny and dynamic that can connect with people.
And it worked.
And it worked, right? So
it did.
The big boys are doing all kinds of crazy stuff to figure out how to be what's very natural to people. Right? And, Steve Jobs has passed away from us recently, but I happen to have a close friend, and I think you may know him, but he was a manager with Apple at the time that Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak were hired. And he told me that the week after the Stu Steves were hired, that the PR firm was hired, and they began to position the Steves, and then eventually Jobs, because of the more dynamic personality, as the guy, the persona that was more engaging and interesting than a computer company could be. And this individual people, you know, the big media and the big brands are trying to figure out what you and I can do on YouTube for free and from our own homes and faster than they can, because we don't have compliance departments and all this stuff, right?
So this is just really powerful. If you haven't written that down, listeners, that's incredible that the big companies are trying to figure out how to get the same kind of influence that you can have doing your own stuff, because an interesting and powerful individual is more interesting than a brand. So, listeners, there's just so many more questions that I've got, but we're starting to be time constrained. All right, so this is how you get your free gift, your free thank you gift. I told you that I'd tell you, and here you go. You need to be on the audience dashboard webpage in case you haven't seen it. That's located at www.resultswithkellen.com/celebrity. And to get to the thank you gift, click on the big orange special offer button. Then that takes you to the special offer page. Scroll down and look for the box with the red dotted lines around it that says Shawn Miller's thank you gift. Fill your name and email in there, click on the send button, and within just a moment we'll automatically send you a link to Shawn's thank you gift. For those of you that perhaps joined the interview late and missed some of the incredible stuff we talked about today, don't worry. We'll be posting the replay in just a few minutes, and we'll leave it up for at least 72 hours. If you want to share this free 72-hour replay with a friend, please send them to www.resultswithkellen.com. Also, if you haven't already done it, now is the time to take advantage of Shawn Miller's Wall Street and Hollywood Boulevard package, because you really need to do this. Take advantage of this exclusive 90% discount. Click on the Add to Cart button now. The rest is easy. Just fill in the form and click on the Submit Order button. Friends, thank you for listening to this interview. And Shawn, thank you for sharing your wisdom and learning with us today.
Hey, man, I'm thrilled to be here. I'm really, really excited to share with people. And were we going to talk about that celebrity branding package also?
No.
Okay.
There's another package. Thank you. We could have, but we've just run out of time. So
okay.
That's so exciting. And if you, like I said, if you haven't taken advantage of that special offer, please do that now. Click on the special offer button and fill out the form and click submit, and then you'll get access to that, and you'll be able to start your own journey. Thanks, and bye for now, friends.